Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about is the Real Housewives of Dubai, Season 1, Episode 11. Uh, episode 11. It started off with where it left off at last week, where Stansbury and Aiden were arguing, and Stansbury got up and left the table, and she was crying, and so and so Nina and Lesa was telling Chanel she shouldn't have said that to Stansbury, that she was more successful than her. And then Aiden say, well, I am more successful than her. I'm a model, I'm a mom, I got my own businesses, I'm on the cover of Vogue magazine and all these magazines. And so Lesa was telling Aiden, even if you felt that way, and even if that's true, you shouldn't have said that to her. You should have said that to her. And then in a confessional, Lesa was saying that's what Stansbury is really upset about, because Aiden is really telling the truth. She's really more like a 50-year-old influencer. And then so after that, Sarah chimed in and said, "No, Aiden, you shouldn't have said that. You hurt Stansbury's feelings." And then Aiden said, "What about my feelings? What about my feelings?" and stuff. And then Brooks, I mean, not Brooks. And then Lesa said, "Well, in a confession, you say, well, I'm not that type of person that's gonna take up for a friend because I'm a friend and stuff." She said, "No, I'm one of those kind of friends that I'm gonna tell you when you're right, and let you know when you're wrong. And I'm a person like that too. I don't care how friendly I am with you and stuff. If I feel that you are wrong, whether you're a family member or kinfolks, I'm gonna tell you about it. Just like I would want you to tell me if I did something wrong." But anyway, back to the show. And so Stansbury was over there crying, and Nina ran over there and asked her how she was doing. She talking about she's tired of Aiden treating her like that, and treating her like treating her bad, and treating her like that, like like she always does. She don't know what's wrong. She don't know what's wrong with Aiden. Why Aiden are treating her like that? And she said, "Well, maybe she didn't mean it like that." She said, "Yeah, I did mean it like that. I don't know, but it's just something that's always off with me and Aiden. I don't know why she always comes at me like that." And then so Lesa told, switched back to Lesa, and Lesa told Aiden. She said, "Are you gonna go over there and apologize to her?" And she said, "Should I apologize?" And then Sarah said, "Yeah, you should apologize to her." And she said, "Well, you want to come with me, Lesa?" Lesa said, "No, that's your problem. You go over there and fix it." She said, "Plus, it's too far. It's too far over there for me to walk." And so Aiden walked up, and she told Stansbury, she said, "Stansbury, I want to talk to you." And then Nina looked kind of funny. She said, "There's nothing not gonna be going on. You can leave us alone. I can talk to her." And then so Aiden told Stansbury. She said, "I'm sorry for what I said and how I said it, that I was more successful than you." She said, but what I meant by that is what I meant by that. What I meant by that is not what you thought I meant by it." She said, "You thinking I'm talking about finances and financial. I'm talking about I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I take care of my mother, I take care of my family, I'm a model, I run businesses and stuff like that. So that's what I mean, that I'm successful like that." And she was talking about, Aiden, you're gonna have to come at me with a different attitude attitude and different things. You always coming at me hostile. She said hostile. She said, yeah, you always coming at me with this, like you have hostility. It gives me hostile stuff. And she said, no. She said, no, Stansbury, I'm not coming at you hostile, and I'm not jealous of anything. So if you felt that way, I'm sorry, and I apologize. And she said, Aiden, are you okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I just want to know if you good. She said, yeah, we're good. So they all went back to the other table, and they said, is everything all right? She said, yeah, we all good. We all good. So they went back into the house. And when they went back into the villa, Nina and Stansbury, instead of them coming down with sitting down with Sarah and Lesa, they're gonna go upstairs to the villa. And so Nina was asking Stansbury, was she all right? Stansbury said, yes, she needs to go to a room. Next thing you know, Stansbury was in her room calling Sergio. Sergio was asking her how was the trip going. She said the trip was going all right until yesterday. He said, what happened yesterday? And she went and told him about she wasn't doing that good, about what Aiden said to her about she was more successful. How she's more successful? She's not more successful than you. You got this and you got that. She got a husband that's paying for her stuff. And then she got to crying. Then she got to crying and stuff. We talking about don't feel bad. You'll feel better and stuff like that. And so she got off the phone. And while she was talking to Sergio, they showed where Lesa. And they showed where Lesa and they showed where Lesa, Brooks, and Sarah were downstairs, and they was talking to Nina. And Nina came back downstairs, and Aiden said, Nina, you shouldn't have left the group to went over there to Aiden. To went over there. I mean, Aiden said you shouldn't have left the group to went over there to Stansbury. You could have stayed in the group. You could have stayed with us. And then Nina said, well, I'm tired of this. Everybody wants to blame me, but I'm tired of this. I don't like to see another woman cry. And she said, well, you could have stood to the group, and we could have worked it out as a group. And so Sarah chimed in and said, I'm tired of y'all arguing, going back and forth. And so Lesa said, what was going on? And then Brooks said, well, we were just discussing about that Nina should have stayed at the table with the group, and maybe we all could have got together and came up with a solution. And Lesa said, yeah, I agree with Aiden. You should have stayed in the group. You should stay there. She said, Lesa, why do you keep saying that? And Lesa said, well, you the one told me to watch out for Stansbury. But that was before I got to know Stansbury. She said, but why you gonna tell me to watch Stansbury? And you seem like that you coming up with a good relationship with Stansbury. And Nina said, it seems like that since I'm getting closer to Stansbury, you are getting jealous of our relationship. Lesa said, no, I'm not getting jealous of the relationship. I'm just saying you was the one that kept stressing about that Stansbury was a person to be watched, and I'm just wondering why. And then so Lesa said in her confessional, yeah, maybe she wanted me to be not to be friends with Stansbury, so she can step in, because she said at first I didn't have no problem with Stansbury until what Nina told me. And then so Sarah said, guys, come on, let's stop it. You gonna? And then Aiden chimed in and said, yeah, I want to have fun. Let's go in the other room and let's smoke some hookah. And so they went in the other room and they started smoking some hookah. And then Stansbury came downstairs after she called her husband, and they was all they was all playing around and going around. And then Stansbury said, well, this is the last day of our trip, and so far we've been having such a good thing. Everybody having such a good thing. She said, yeah. She said, we're gonna have dinner later on and stuff, and we're gonna have dinner later on. Will y'all girls be ready? And she said, yeah. And then Aiden said, well, I'm finna go upstairs and pack. And then Lesa said, I need to be packing too. So what happened? They showed Lesa FaceTiming her husband and her son. He said, she said, well, I'll be home shortly. And the boy said, we miss you, Mom. We miss you, Mom. And her husband said, yeah. And when you come back, I'm gonna bake you a cake. He said, oh, really? You gonna bake me a cake? He said, yeah. And then next thing you know, they showed Sarah FaceTiming her son and talking about his homework. She told me he better get his homework together by the time she get there. And then it switched to the next scene where they showed Aiden packing and she was looking for stuff. And then she decided to call her husband. And so Aiden told her husband that he asked her how she was doing. She said she was doing she said she wasn't doing that good. He said, what's going on? And she told him I was doing good up until the day before. He said, what happened? She said, I'm just so tired of trying to prove myself to everybody. He said, what you mean? What you mean? Say Stansbury, every time I'm around Stansbury, she always keep asking me what I'm doing, what I'm doing. I keep telling her that I'm a model and I'm a model. I have a modeling agency. I run business. I do that. I'm just so tired. And she got to crying. She had to cry. And her husband said, yeah, you're a fun-loving person. You like to have fun. You're loving. You love people and stuff. And she kept on crying. He said, well, you know what? He was getting lots of words of encouragement. And that was so nice of him to give Aiden lots of words of encouragement. Because I think he know some of Aiden's past. So he said, well, you know, stick around with friends that really like you and love you, like Lesa. Don't worry, don't worry about Stansbury. She said, okay, I'm packing up. See you later. And then he could cut off the phone and stuff. Now, some people, when this scene first happened, I think it was last week or week before last, some people were saying her husband didn't show up like Sergio, but I was glad he didn't show up. He gave her the same encouragement that he would have gave her in person. So, you know, it was the same thing. But anyway, it switched down to the dinner scene. Everybody was getting ready for dinner. Everybody was getting ready for dinner and stuff like that. And so they had the scene. And so they had the scene. So they had the scene at the dinner. And while they were getting ready for dinner, Brooks and Lesa was talking. I don't know if it was in Lisa's room in the hallway, and she was saying, yeah, it was. She said she didn't like the fact that Stansbury and Nina didn't want to take Aiden's feelings into consideration, and only want to look at Stansbury crying. What about Aiden's feelings? And then that's when Lesa said, yeah, we as black women, we always have to be strong. We always have to be resilient. We always have to work twice as hard as the next person and get paid less. And you know, sometimes, you know, you get tired of that, and you know, that's why Aiden was crying and stuff, down here with us. And so she was saying, yeah, you were right. Brooks just saying, yeah, she was right, agreeing with it. Yeah, you're right about that. We have to go through a lot of stuff. And then it switched to the dinner scene, and they was all having dinner at the dinner scene, and Nina thanked Stansbury for inviting her to the villa and stuff, and then also Sarah said that she had a good time and stuff like that, and Lesa said she had a good time too. And Brooke said she had a good time. I said, well, I'm glad all of y'all had a good time. She said, what about you, Aiden? Aiden said, yeah, I had a pretty much good time and stuff like that. And then the girls got ready to leave. The girls got ready to leave for the dinner. And then the next thing you know, Nina said, I'm going to go in my room and go pack because I got to leave in the morning and stuff like that. And so all the girls getting ready to leave. Brooks had left. Lesa had left. And Nina was the last one. And so Nina kind of looked back. Sergio was still sitting down there. And then Aiden said, well, I need to talk to you. Stansbury. And then Sergio was standing there. And then Nina gave him a look again the second time. And then he heard him ran on off. He's walking off slowly. And she said, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. She said, Stansbury, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what I said earlier in the day or earlier in the week. I'm very sorry about that, and I apologize to you, and I apologize to you again. And I'm gonna try not to. I'm not gonna try not to do that to you again. Since I found out the real reason why, and then right after that, Stansbury asked, "Hey, no, you sure you're okay now?" She said, "Yeah, I'm okay. Everything all right." So that scene went off, and then it switched to the next scene where they were back in Dubai, and Sergio was talking to Stansbury about having a baby and stuff, and she was saying, "Well, yeah, we're gonna have a baby," and so the next thing you know, she said, well, "What it is, I want you to feel like like a woman have a baby." So her assistant kind of taped some tape around Sergio's belly, and they put a watermelon inside the belly, and then they had two melons for representing the breast of a woman, and so after that, he was walking around, and then the doorbell ring, and it was Brooks. She came to visit, and Sergio was kind of upset. He said, "What? I didn't know you have visitors. I didn't know you have visitors." She said, "Yeah, Brooks came over to see me. I invited Brooks over." And Brooks said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Brooks, I just wanted him to see how it is to have a baby." And he told me, "Well, it's gonna, after the first 2 weeks we can have it." And they said, "Sergio, the first 2 weeks, what are you talking about? The P word? The P word don't last the first 2 weeks." They all bust out laughing at Sergio. And then Stansbury said, "You see what I'm talking about now, Brooks?" She said, "Oh, yes, the Sergio don't know nothing about the women's body and how to have a baby and stuff." And he got to laugh, but he was looking all funny. And then he said, "It's falling out, it's falling out." So he kind of took it out, and he was trying to go over to Stansbury, and he had to hurry up and grab the watermelon because that watermelon would have fell on her with a burst. And so I went to the next scene. And the next scene where they show Lesa was FaceTiming her husband, and she was telling her husband that she missed him. And the boy said, "We miss you too, Daddy. We miss you too." And he said, "Well, I'll be home in a little while." She said, "Yeah, you keep on, conduct your business." And then it switched to the next scene where Sarah was taking Aiden to the therapist, and she said, and they showed a flashback of when Sarah suggested to Aiden that she go to the therapist, and she told the therapist that Sarah was the one who suggested that she come there. And then so she said, "What do you want to work on?" And she was telling about the story about how our daddy used to take them to places and tie them up, and they would have have S with men, and then after they would get through doing that, they would do the C word to them, and then they would bring them back, and then the therapist said, what happened with you and your daddy?" She said, "My daddy was doing that so I could be the V word, so that way he could sell me to a diary." And she said, "Ooh, that is so awful, that's so dreadful." And Sarah looked it down, and she was kind of crying, and Aiden wiped her eyes, and then the therapist took into the room, and she hypnotized her, and she was saying, "Well, how do you feel now?" And Aiden said, "I feel a whole lot better now." And she said, "Now it's not my past. It's not gonna ruin me. It's not gonna hurt me. No, it's the past, and I can move on. I can move on." And then the show ended. That was so heartbreaking at the last part to me for Aiden and what all she had to go through over there. This is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. I am out.